Hi everyone. For Gemini Rising, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction on 9th of June takes place in Cancer in your second house, highlighting self-worth, finances, personal values, emotional security, and deeper relationship with what makes you feel safe, stable, and supported. So Cancer energy brings emotional sensitivity and intuition to matters connected to money, possessions, and self-value. So this transit might encourage you to reflect more deeply on what truly fits you emotionally, not only materially, but also psychologically and spiritually as well. So on a practical level, this might show up as positive financial opportunities or support that you might receive, reassessing spending habits and priorities. You might feel more emotionally connected to work or income sources. You might receive gifts. You might receive some help or emotional generosity from others. And you might want greater financial stability or comfort in general. So, investing more energy into self care and personal well being might be something that you'll think about, as well as recognizing your own talents and value yourself more clearly. Um, Also, emotional conversation connected to money, security, or boundaries might take place, or you suddenly might realize that emotional spending and treating yourself might have become its own coping mechanism. So, Venus brings harmony, pleasure, attractions, and while Jupiter expands and growth, opportunity, and perspective. So, these two planets meeting together in Cancer can increase both emotional generosity and emotional awareness around you, and also what you truly value in life. Many Gemini rising might begin recognizing that self worth and financial security are deeply interconnected. Also, this transit might encourage healthier emotional relationship with money, work, possessions, and even the way you seek comfort during periods of stress or when you feel uncertain. What makes this transit especially significant for Gemini rising is the connection between the houses involved. So the conjunction takes place in your second house, which is ruled by the moon, while Jupiter rules your seventh house of relationships and partnerships. So this creates quite a strong link between emotional security, personal value system, and your relationships with other people or one-to-one partner. Because of this, themes connected to emotional support and balance within relationships might become more visible for you at this time. You might begin noticing more clearly whether certain relationships really support your emotional well being and self esteem, or whether they tend to drain your energy, confidence, or your sense of stability. The moon, ruler of this conjunction, becomes especially important in understanding how this transit might unfold emotionally for you. So Gemini rising often process life mentally first, but Cancer energy asks you to slow down enough to actually feel what your inner world is trying to communicate with you. So for many Gemini risings, this period might bring greater emotional awareness around needs that you might have previously been rationalized away. You might also find what you tolerate, what you accept, and what you believe and deserve. All this might come under review and scrutiny. So the conjunction also support greater softness and emotional openness within close relationships. Supportive partnerships might feel more supportive and emotionally grounding during this period, while important conversations around trust, money, and future stability might take place and deepen these connections. At the same time, our goal in Taurus in the 12th house forms a sextile to the Venus Jupiter conjunction, adding deeper emotional intensity beneath the surface. In astrology, Algol is one of the most powerful fixed stars and is often associated with emotions or truths that can no longer remain suppressed. And although looking historically, Algol has gained a difficult reputation, in modern astrology, Algol is viewed as an energy connected to confronting deeper fears, reclaiming personal power, and facing emotional truths honestly. So for Gemini Rising, Algol is in the 12th house, which makes him operate more quietly and in the background. And so it might bring some unconscious fears, some emotional exhaustion, or hidden insecurity into your awareness. This might help you recognize emotional patterns connected to self worth, sacrifice, maybe people pleasing, or emotional overgiving that have quietly shaped your decisions for way too long. Meanwhile, Chiron in Aries in the 11th house received a square from the conjunction, which highlights sensitivities connected to friendships, belongings, social acceptance, and feeling emotionally understood within groups or communities. Chiron is often called the wounded healer in astrology. It represents emotional wounds, vulnerabilities, and areas where deeper healing can eventually emerge through greater awareness or compassion. In the 11th house, Chiron might point towards old wounds connected to rejection, exclusion, maybe feeling misunderstood or socially struggling to feel fully accepted of who you truly are. During this transit, friendships or social situation might trigger deeper emotional reflection. You might become more aware of where you shrink yourself in order to fit in, or where you overexert emotionally for others, or where your sense of worth has become too dependent on external validation. At the same time, this transit also supports healing through emotionally supportive connections. And for Gemini rising, some Gemini rising might realize that true belonging does not come from performing a role for others, but from being emotionally authentic and allowing yourself to be seen of who you really are. So overall, this Venus Jupiter conjunction in Cancer feels emotionally reflective, grounding, and transformative for many Gemini risings. It is not only about money or relationships, but about rebuilding a healthier emotional foundation for both. And perhaps one of the most important lessons of this transit is that emotional security cannot be built by constantly adapting yourself to what others expect from you. The more honest you become with your real needs, values, and emotional limits, the more your relationship, finances, and self worth can feel more genuinely stable rather than emotionally exhausting. I would love to hear how this resonates with you, so please leave your comments down below. Thank you.